Well, it is officially just a couple weeks out from LCS. I'm here right now with Hauntzer with coverage presented by Alienware to talk a little bit about his move to Golden Guardians. So first off, what's this offseason been like for you? It's probably been pretty hectic and interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely taken some like twists and turns. Didn't expect to be here like after our gauntlet run, but it is what it is, and I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah, so what was sort of that moment when you found out everything was changing for you, and what was that conversation like?
Um, it was really like I was told you're not the starter anymore, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna search for a new team, and at first I was like, it was pretty jarring. I was like, I don't know what to do right now. Um, I'm like really confused on like what kind of path I should take, like what kind of player I want to become after this. And um, after some time, I realized like it's just gonna be the same thing over and over again. And I was like continuing my path, and I also found out that GGS is like they made a lot of big changes to their team and infrastructure. So I'm really happy about that, and they seemed like the best option for me at the time.
Yeah, what was it that made you want to come to GGS? Because I'm sure, no offense to the organization, but at the end of the split, like a lot of people probably aren't gonna like GGS. That's the place I want to go. So what made you decide on this organization?
Um, Probably just my first meeting with them. Like we had a short like 15-minute call, and just talking to them for those 15 minutes, I learned that like they're really turning it around this year, and they want to make sure that they can place well. Um, they don't want like the same repeat like 10th place to happen again. So and like the roster too, their big roster changes. I heard Fragment's going to be on the team. I know he's a really good player, and um, those are like the main things.
Who were you talking to? Who convinced you? Because obviously, I know Hunter and Spellsy are over there, but I also know that they've added some additional support staff to the organization.
Um, yeah, there's Hunter and there's like Danon and Nick. Nick's new coach and Danon's Nero, and Danon's new GM. They're both very smart guys and very capable, and just by talking to them, I feel like I can trust these guys.
Okay, so with this new lineup, one of the things that struck me is, and it's funny because everybody's behind us right now, but there's a perception by the community that you are a pretty strong-willed guy with like a pretty strong opinion on how the game should be played, and it feels like that's probably the case with some of the other guys on the team as well. So how are you going to navigate that, and do you perceive that to be the case? Like, is there a chance that you guys are going to butt heads at all?
I think every team will butt heads at some point because people just have different opinions. But like we've been screaming for a few weeks now, and I feel there's no like too big of a clash. Like everyone's mostly on the same page, and we'll debate like if this is better than that or stuff like that. But in the end, we usually come to like a conclusion and then just move on.
One of my first takes when I saw the new lineup was that this is a team that like is going to be impossible to place, right? Because I feel like all you guys have had some really high, great moments, some amazing moments, and then a lot of you guys have had some pretty tough splits, right? Where it's just like, are these guys can they still do they still have it? So what do you think is going to happen? And do you feel like you guys are also it could land anywhere in the 10?
Um, in terms of placing, I think we'll definitely make playoffs, but how well we do then just depends on how much synergy we have as a team and how other teams is doing as well. There's been so many changes within the league that it's really hard to tell who's going to be first place. Like, sure, TL is like really stacked, but can they find like the right synergy issues? And other teams made a lot of changes, like 100 Thieves, TSM. We don't know like if they're actually gonna be good or not until like like 2018, beginning of 2018. We thought we were gonna do really well, just because we had a stacked roster, but it didn't turn out like that because we weren't like the actual best team. Like our coordination was a bit off. So who knows?
What do you think is the case for the organization or for the team? Because I feel like the team kind of has it feels like everybody has something to prove. Like even GGS has something to prove, right? Like, do we deserve to be in this league? A lot of the players like have been around for a while, or they left their teams unwillingly in the last split. Like, do you feel like everyone has something to prove with this?
Um, yeah, I feel like that's sort of the narrative of the team. Like GGS placed 10th place twice last year. Um, we all got kicked from our previous teams. It feels kind of bad. So we want to get revenge. Like I want to get revenge against TSM, and Rick wants to get it against Echo Fox, Jusung, TL, Contract C9.
Yeah.
So we'll have things to prove.
And definitely is just hanging out. Like, I'm just happy to be here.
He's just along for the ride.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Well, hopefully it's a fun one for you guys. What else do you think of the LCS this year? Because I'm kind of curious. Are there any teams that you think are particularly interesting, or any storylines that you're looking to see play out? Any where you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen here.
You know, now that you mentioned that, I forgot all the teams' rosters again.
Yeah.
So.
Optic has Crown. That's really interesting.
Oh yeah, that's a bold move.
Yeah.
Like I really don't know how that will work.
Okay.
Who else made changes? Echo Fox. There's just like Clutch.
Yeah. Basically, everyone made changes. I think. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if there's a
right.
roster that stayed the same. You've got TL bringing over a world champion, and Jensen from C9 goes over there. It's just for me, it feels like a really interesting offseason, and so it's been fun for me to talk to all the different pro players and see what they think is kind of particularly interesting about this year's lineup.
Well, for me, I feel like the playoffs teams would be like TL, TSM, us, C9, and 100 Thieves. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Actually, C9 stayed the same for the most part.
well,
Actually,
except for in the mid
except
lane.
for mid lane.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, I feel like they're pretty strong.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Clutch? They're gonna have Hooney.
Okay. Who's on? Who's? They have Lyra and
Yeah.
Piglet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's like almost a full Korean team. They might be the first ones to do it in the West.
We'll see. Other than that, just a quick check-in. How's your off season? What'd you do during the break? Bit of a longer off season for you than normal. So did you do any non-league stuff?
Yeah, it was a long time off. I kind of just got lost. I like in the flow of things, and I couldn't remember like what day of the week it is. Like it's just really hard to remember. So I started doing kickboxing again, and that's been really fun. It helps me like keep that competitive like drive I want, and like just like something to keep learning and improve on. Besides that, it's just been really boring.
Well, I'm sure you're happy for LCS to start back up again.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there, especially any GGS fans that are like, what is this roster going to do this year?
We'll do good things.
Very good. Thank you so much, Hauntzer, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Hey, thanks so much for watching my preseason coverage. It's really important that you know that this is brought to you by Alienware because they're sponsoring everything I do in 2019. It's very hype. I don't know if you've seen the video yet. It's on my channel. You can go check it out. It's the announcement video. It's great. Anyway, the point is that I'm really excited to be returning for LCS interviews this year. It's going to be rad. Those are coming up in just a couple of weeks. Until then, you've got this preseason coverage here. And if you could do me a big favor, go down and check the links in the description because there's some cool stuff down there, including, by the way, a link over to Alienware's site, dell.com/Travis. That helps me out. They just announced a bunch of cool stuff at CES, and so you can check out what they've done over there. It's really great. Can't wait to produce more content like this for you throughout the year, and stay tuned for that. Thanks so much.